Welcome, everybody, to week 15 of the League Bound podcast. We got fantasy playoffs, baby. Fantasy playoff time in the NFL, in the world. It's late. Today We're joined by none other than one half of the second place holder and bye holder in League Bound, Avery Jules Greenberg. My buddy, how you doing, buddy?
I am doing great. Thanks for having me on the podcast for the playoff podcast. It's a true honor.
Well, thank you for joining, man. Playoffs are here, and it is exciting. As I mentioned in our League Bound chat, that it really was one play in fantasy that separated me from the playoffs, which is insane considering that it's a 14-week season. And obviously, every team can probably point to one or two things, but legitimately being able to point to one single play, 30-yard touchdown catch by Taysom Hill in 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Separated me from the playoffs, and kind of stings, and it's a little annoying, but it separated me from playoffs and now last place in League Bound. So we're gonna have to have better luck next year. It's a good thing that I have
Yes.
leagues, bro, and I am in the playoffs in those leagues. Which one of them I will actually be asking for some help a little bit later. So, um, look forward to that. You excited, man?
I can't wait.
Yeah. What about your other leagues? I
I'm in
a bunch.
nonstop. Hold on. Sorry, I'm recording. I gotta go mute.
What's up?
I'm getting calls. Okay, so yeah, I'm in five paid leagues this year. I'm in the playoffs in all but one. I'm a top two seed in three out of the five. It was a good year of fantasy. I can't wait to make money in all my leagues.
Love to hear that, man. And
Yeah.
you guys are what's going on in pickles?
Oh, pickle.
Top
So,
two?
well, yeah, we're the second seed, but we're gonna get bumped to the third seed because of a technicality. And you said that you could pinpoint one play. If we would have started Devontae Smith 2 weeks ago, we would be $400 richer and a first round bye. Instead, we are probably gonna have to play in the first round of playoffs. It's a long story. We don't have to go into that. We don't got enough time. Like
Okay.
literally technicalities.
All right. This is what fantasy football is. Game of inches, game of start and sits. And it's a lot.
Fantasy. That's all it's about.
Bro, it's insane. Things aren't what they always seem. We're gonna end up having some guys winning leagues that you wouldn't even like remotely think were possible. Last year it was Amon-Ra St. Brown, it was Braxton Berrios, it was Rashad Penny. You're gonna have those types of guys pop up, and we might see a couple of those guys in the matchups that we preview a little bit later. So I'm very excited for that. Got some good football this week. After last week's cruddy matchups, this is or was it 2 weeks ago? There were cruddy matchups a little while ago, but now I'm very excited that there's going to be some offense, some points scored, and yeah, I'm very excited. Saturday football is starting. So now with college football being over with, not really, but it's in bowl season and playoffs. We're going to be having some Saturday NFL games. So we kick that off with a triple header. Two of those games we will be discussing, actually. And next week for Erev Christmas Eve, we'll be having the entire NFL slate except for four games. Thursday night game which next week is the Jets and the Jaguars that my wife got us tickets for. We will be attending Jets, 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 Jets. Very excited for that. And yeah, there's gonna be a lot of good football to come down the stretch. Very excited.
Yeah, same. I can't wait. If I'm like it's fantasy playoffs. Let's play. Let's go. Let's get to
Heck
Sunday
yeah,
already.
baby. All right, let's get into a little bit of news and notes. Lamar, the Baltimore QB situation. Lamar is still not practicing. He shouldn't be. He's not going to be out there this week. We have Tyler Huntley also was limited in practice, but he should look like he's going to play. What that situation is like, honestly, I would stay away from anyone that's not named Mark Andrews, and even him is a little bit shaky. Or J.K. Dobbins, who could be a league winner because now he's back in. If they let him actually get the ball, he's very talented. Still looking a little bit sore from the knee, but hey, that's the name of the game with football and ACL injuries. You just got to get back into the swing of things. Amari Cooper was a DNP today, which is a little bit worrisome, especially for myself, having him on one of my playoff squads. If he doesn't go, Donovan Peoples Jones is gonna absolutely smash. He's already been a great player to have on your squad nowadays. Richie James, who's been a PPR machine as of late, also was a DMP. And in that same game, Chase Young was a full practice and is looking to make his season debut, which is going to be a little bit of a problem for anyone that has Saquon and Daniel Jones if they have to stream. You don't look too thrilled about that right now.
I have full faith in the Saquon to be able to perform at the level we're expecting.
At the
We look
level we're
forward to a great
expecting,
matchup at the level
considering
we're
that
expecting.
Saquon in half point PPR, I believe, has been averaging 7 points the last 3 weeks. I will.
We're looking forward to a strong playoff run.
I mean, strong playoff run against Washington, Minnesota, Indianapolis. It's not terrible, but I mean, it's better than I thought. Okay, for the last 4 weeks, it's been too bad, too very bad, and too solid weeks. We got 4.5 points against Detroit, which was a disaster. Then 13, then 16, and then last week's absolute drubbing against the Eagles with less than 6 points. So it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, but Saquon is definitely someone that you're now holding your breath late in the season, hoping that he's just healthy and that he is the Saquon that you had in the beginning of the year and can actually win you guys the matchups that he was doing in the beginning of the year.
Yes, I agree wholeheartedly. You know, he is one of our top guys on a couple of squads. I do like we don't have to rely on him on the other. He's like our RB2 in other squads, so that's not bad. Um, so yeah, so we yes, it comes down to how they're feeling, right? I feel like if they're hurt or something, if he's got a nagging injury, which Saquon appears to always have nowadays, that could do something. And Chase Young is not a small dude, so we'll have to see how that works out as well. You know, first game back, he'll be a little rusty, so I'm not too worried about it. But I'm expecting good football this week.
All right. Hey, I hear you, man. Someone that I think also affects you as well is Pat Fryermuth.
Expects to play.
Was
Expects to play.
expects to play. He was a DNP today,
Expects to play.
so you'll have to monitor that as the week goes on Thursday and Friday. Kendall Hinton, who's been fantasy relevant as of late, a little bit, also was a DNP, and so was Cortland Sutton. So fire up your Jerry Judy, who got an unlimited practice today, with Brett Rippon at quarterback because Russell Wilson decided that he was good at football for a half, and then proceeded to see stars and get a concussion, and that was actually really scary for Russ. But maybe it knocked some sense into him, and he won't be such a cringe person anymore.
What do you think of that tight end over there, Dulce, whatever his name is, Dulce?
Greg Dulcich,
Yeah,
that's a very favorable schedule. Again, I would be hesitant with Brett Rippon, even
yeah,
though
no, for sure.
he's not that much of a downgrade from Russ, how bad Russ has been this year. But at the same time, I would try to find a different option. Like if I had, let's say, a David Njoku or Gerald Everett, even
Yeah.
Okonkwo
Oh,
from from
yeah, Tennessee.
yes, I lost last week by not starting him and Evan Ingram, both sitting on my bench in a full PPR.
That's rough.
Fun all
That's rough.
playoffs anyway, but that did cost me the bye, so that was a little bit rough. But hey, we still are playing, so that's what matters. Okay, well now let's get into the football, baby. We got NFC West action for the Thursday night football game. Very excited for tomorrow night's action with the San Francisco 49ers giving up 0 yards and points to anybody who steps in their way against Geno Smith and the struggling Seattle Seahawks. In Seattle, which definitely helps the Seahawks defense, which has really been struggling of late. And now these two teams met in week 2, and it was a pretty handily victory for the 49ers. This is when Trey Lance got hurt and Jimmy G came in relief. Obviously, there's a lot that's happened since. Jimmy G now going down. We got Brock Purdy, as I put over here, the Mike White West. Just a lot of things have happened. Christian McCaffrey is now there. Debo is hurt. A lot of things going on as far as this matchup is concerned. Ken Walker also is expected to be active, which I don't know. He's a fringe flex play, if you ask me, against the against the 49ers defense. What's your take on the two wide receivers for the Seahawks in this matchup?
I think
Games.
that they'll get into despite the quarterback issues for the 49ers. I think that like they have a team talented enough to put them up in any game. I think their defense is phenomenal, like you mentioned, and Christian McCaffrey. I think everybody knows that when he's healthy, you could do what he could do. Plus Kittle and Ayuk. Like someone asked me who like with the change to quarterback if I thought the 49ers would still be able to win the Super Bowl. And I think they can. I just think they have the talent around them to win it. So I think they'll be up. And then I think that Gino is going to be tested to throw the ball. And hopefully that there's a lot of touchdowns there. So
Right. So here's my question to you. Tyler Lockett scored a touchdown in 6 straight games. How is someone that has scored a touchdown in 6 straight games plus 200 to score a touchdown?
elite defense.
I understand elite defense, but that elite defense, my friend, is also against wide receivers over the last 6 weeks. The seventh, no, I'm sorry. Still 10th is the 10th worst against fantasy wide receivers over the last 6 weeks. They're susceptible through the air. They're not crazy susceptible, but obviously they're the number one. They're the number one defense in football, and they're the number one rush defense in football. But if you're gonna beat them, there is a path of least resistance, which is throwing against them.
I think that when you also have talented receivers like they do, I think the opportunity to throw will come, and I think that the wide receivers will take advantage. I think they have two elite guys, right? Gino's been working them all year, right? They're fantasy wise, both of them have produced this year, which is what you hope for.
Yes.
So I think that the opportunity is there. It comes down to execution. I would take that bet, the lock at 206. I would take that. I would also
And
probably parlay that with Christian McCaffrey scoring a touchdown.
that would give you a pretty good number at plus 403. To have that that would actually be really nice. A nice 4-1 bet for
Yeah,
to score. Another player that, well, with the Debo injury, there are
Ayuk.
players that really, exactly, there are two players that really benefit a lot, and that's Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. George Kittle splits when one of Brandon Ayuk or Debo Samuel in the past. I mean, you just see it with your eyes. He just is a much more involved, much better player when he's more necessary to the offense. And Brandon Ayuk's gonna. I am so happy. I think I traded for Brandon Ayuk for it was a Brandon Ayuk for Michael Pittman straight up trade, and I am loving that trade. I love Michael Pittman. One of the biggest Michael Pittman fans you'll see. But Brandon Ayuk for Michael Pittman, oh, that's looking juicy at the end of the season right now. But yeah, I want to know, what do you think? The Seahawks are at home, but they're 3-point dogs in this game. I see the Seahawks putting up more of I see this being a 3-point game. Like I would say this actually pushes. I see the Niners winning, but I would not be shocked if the Seahawks ended up actually getting the W in this. I would probably take the 3 because I think it's going to be so close. But do give me a Niners W at with Brock Purdy managing to get into field goal range at the end to take a last second possession win.
That's what it's going to come down to, obviously, right? The quarterback play for the 49ers. If he's serviceable, then I think they could take it. If it's not and a total monster shit show, then it'll be tough for them to win.
Okay. Well, let's get to all right. So that was the Thursday night game. Now let's get to some Saturday football, where I don't know why, but I have a weird feeling that this game, the Indianapolis Colts at the Minnesota Vikings, is going to be the sneaky game of the week that just provides a lot of fantasy points for your Jonathan Taylors, your Dalvin Cooks, your Justin Jeffersons, your Adam Thielens, your Michael Pittmans, your random Jelani Woods if you're feeling lucky. Um, your Paris Campbell's. I think there's going to be points galore for some. Like I don't like either the Colts defense is okay, but I think that I really have a feeling that the Vikings are going to take it to them. The Vikings have been taking it on the chin lately, not showing that they really belong at the top of the NFC. And I just feel like they're gonna assert some dominance in this game. Uh,
And how certain of you of this statement?
how certain? I
How
think
certain?
I definitely think they're covering the 4.5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
uh, I
Uh,
hear that.
I mean, TJ
No,
Hawkinson also is going to be someone that I like in this matchup.
I agree. But
Well,
based on you being so strong saying it, I feel like I should take the under then.
the under.
Yeah, I mean, if you're so certain that it's going to be a blowout, like a shootout, then I should probably take the under.
Hey, I would not. Happens to be that 2 games last week, me and Marilis predicted. We had strong takes on 2 games. The Titans and Jaguars game where I took the Titans and he took the Jaguars, and then the Lions and the Vikings game where I took the Lions and he took the Vikings. So we like and like we were both dead like very dead set on our opinions on those games. So it was like as opposed to all the rest of them, we were more like in sync with each other and we split that. So
I gotcha.
definitely understand your call on that going against me for sure. Um,
Yeah, I
but
hope, but I yeah, there could be points. Yeah,
I don't know. I just have a weird feeling that this in the dome, they're both dome teams. Matt Ryan, the Vikings don't necessarily get a great pass rush all the time. So if Matt Ryan actually has some time to throw the ball, he might not look like, a shell the entire game and get the ball downfield to an out Pierce to Pittman to Jelani Woods randomly. And, it might actually look like a game. And I think that Jonathan Taylor and Dalvin Cook are gonna absolutely smash in this game.
okay. I hear the call.
Fire up all your options, even your Adam Thielen. I think Thielen gets a touchdown in this game. Actually, um, I really, really like this game for whatever. I don't know why. It probably will be a 10-7 game at the end, and I'm gonna look like an idiot. But we got to call
Nah,
it shots. That's what we do when you're just talking about football for an hour.
love it.
So what's your take on this game? The under. You're just gonna go with the under on this?
Yeah, under 50. Yeah,
Oh,
49. Yeah, I'll take the under there.
all
I don't
right,
know who. I don't know who's gonna win. I would assume Minnesota would win.
right. Would you
Like
do?
it.
Would you play Adam Thielen or Michael Pittman in this game? Pittman hasn't really done a lot.
I would
Uh,
play Adam Thielen. I think
you take Adam Thielen.
I
Okay.
would take Adam Thielen. I think he's been producing over the last couple of weeks in general,
Yes.
and I
Nice.
think that they will have more opportunities to score touchdowns
Mm-hmm.
over the Colts, and like volume in a red zone threat, like an improving red zone threat, is just like my gut. That's usually my go-to. I usually take that. I
I
like
like
opportunity.
I like to hear that, considering that I have him in one of my leagues. Okay. And then so that's actually the 1 o'clock game on Saturday. And then the prime time game. Nice and weathery. We got the Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills will never build a dome stadium because it is too expensive in New York to do that. It would cost about $8 billion. So we will forever have Buffalo weather games. And oh boy, does that affect a lot of fantasy options this week when it comes to the Dolphins and the Bills. Um, Last week we saw the Bills struggle to really give any sort of fantasy relevance for anyone not named Josh Allen because the Jets defense is elite. Now the Dolphins defense is not elite, but with this weathery game, there might not. It's supposed to be, I believe, 30 under 30 degrees and rain/snow/sleet, all sorts of grossness. Um, and yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a slush fest, as you might call it. So where we at with the fringe options for the Bills, such as Gabe Davis, such as even James Cook or Devin Singletary? Like where we at with that?
It's a good question. Truth, I don't know, and
Huh.
I have the Gabe Davis question in another one of my leagues. Do I start? Do I not start? I actually think this benefits Tua a little bit because I think that Tua likes those little dump off passes better than Josh Allen. So I think that the weather, obviously Josh Allen's home and he's a monster, but the weather, like I think like Josh Allen's gonna have like a 55% completion rate compared to Tua, who'll probably finish with like a 65. And then whatever that,
Really? You're
yeah,
you're
that,
going with that after the
yeah, over like
last
10%
week?
on prime time. Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Okay,
I think I don't know who
spicy. I
wins the
like
game.
that.
I don't know who wins the game. I think, but that's what I think. I think completion wise, Tua is going to be more efficient,
So
but
you
we'll
would say
probably
that the
less
Dolphins
large.
cover the 7?
Yeah, I think so. But I think like Allen's going to have more yards overall.
Right. No, I would say that I would definitely say that Allen has more overall yards as well. I mean, he's
Yeah,
an automatic 20 points in fantasy, no matter what. He doesn't finish outside the top 12 ever.
he's a
Um,
beast.
and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, there's a reason why he's the fourth likeliest guy, odds wise, to score a touchdown in this game.
Well, yeah. What are his rushing?
His
What's his
rushing,
rushing? Yeah, what does that look like?
I don't necessarily have a rushing. I don't have a
Oh,
rushing
we don't know.
rushing line yet because
Okay,
it's a Saturday game and they usually would do that 1 or 2 days before. So I don't have that, but I would assume it's probably somewhere in the 40s. Uh,
okay.
I I mean, if you're getting that type of baseline from a quarterback, that's another. That's a. I mean, in 4 point passing touchdown leagues, that's another touchdown right there. So that's really nice to look at. Jeff Wilson was a DNP today, so it's gonna most likely be the Raheem Mostert show. Um, the Bills defense still looks susceptible to the run. They let Zonovan Bam Knight eat last week. Even Michael Carter was doing well until the fumble late in the game. So it's definitely looking like if Mostert is the only guy, he's definitely going to be fired up as a nice RB2 option for a lot of playoff squads. You're going to start your Tyreek. You're going to start your Jalen Waddle. You're going to definitely start your Stephon Diggs. Let's go, baby. Uh, have him in the league that you.
Which Bills running back do you have? Do you have Singletary or do you have Cook to this week?
I feel like I'm gonna go with Singletary, and the reason why is because I trust the veteran back in sloppy conditions more than the rookie. That I mean, they might want to give him the ball, but at this stage of the season,
And
um,
he has fumbled in the past.
he has fumbled in the past. This stage of the season, you want to give it to the more sure hands, especially in this division game. Um, and I mean, this is still an important game. Technically, the Miami's not out of the division, meaning that they can still. I mean, they would have to win a whole bunch of games, and the Bills would have to lose a couple. But this definitely would help their cause in trying to win the division. Not that I think that will happen, but definitely something to keep in mind as far as division game. You want to make sure that you keep the ball, you don't turn the ball over, and that's why I would probably give the edge to Singletary over a James Cook. Uh,
Gotcha. Good point.
I mean, if I'm just in this type of game, also, I'm trying to avoid a Dawson Knox or a Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki's done absolutely nothing the last 3 weeks, like literally nothing. I believe he has 0 points in the last 3 weeks. Um, it's it's pretty insane that they decided to franchise tag him and then basically not use him. Yes, after the bye, 0.0 points, 4 targets,
Lovely.
no receptions, off fantasy rosters. Please and thank you. He's irrelevant. So I'm sorry that I even wasted time on him. But yeah, I would also no in other news, I would take the Dolphins +7. I don't see them winning this game, but I do see it being I like struggle because I can see this game being nice and close, but I also can see the Dolphins who have
Excuse me.
bless you, who
Thank
have
you.
struggled of late. Uh, I mean, the last 2 games they have looked not just bad, they've looked awful.
Yeah, no, they look bad.
the game against the Chargers the score was a lot closer than what that game was. And the game against the 49ers, that game was also, even though they lost by almost 20, that game was also close, a lot further apart than what the score indicated. So against good, I mean, they had a nice 5 game winning streak, but that was all against under 500 teams. So what are the Miami Dolphins really? And that remains to be seen. This is a real litmus test game for Tua and Mike McDaniel, who we all love because he's like a weird, quirky dude that just shoots from the hip. But this is definitely going to be a nice test for them. Okay, let's just take a quick break and then we will get right back to it.